Dansk Dyrstimuli, it's bent. Dansk Dyrstimuli is a relatively new company. We started 3 years ago, and the original idea was to make rooting and enrichment materials for pigs. But unfortunately, the product was so good and so durable that the company had difficulty making a living from producing only that. So actually, you could say that what we're manufacturing now is completely different from the product we started out with, because that was a much smaller production. We only had a single compressor in a smaller version than all the compressors we now have. And we built up a circle of regular customers and have been able to gain experience from the use of this product. And at the moment, the majority of it goes to bedding of the stalls for dairy cattle. Where, for any farm, what it's all about really is reducing the basis for bacteria growth in the stalls in an efficient way that's, also easy to manage. What we physically do here is that we receive the bales of straw. We get lots of them in. They're big bales. They're wheat, and the straw has to be the best third of the harvest. Humidity is immediately measured in every bale, and if that measure is above a certain level, the bale is not unloaded. We just can't use it. It has to be dry, and we like it to be pale in order to get an overall good end product. We then shred it, and in the process remove a lot of stones and other foreign objects, and end up with this kind of product right here. It's relatively short-strawed, and contrary to the bale we took it from, this absorbs twice as much moisture, due to the way it's been shredded, and to the subsequently bigger surface. Then we dedust it, run it through the briquette compressors, during which process it's heat-treated. The temperature due to friction and the high pressure level inside the chamber, actually, as they're being compressed, by the way, the pressure level is between 2,000 and 3,000 bar. This results in a heat accumulation inside the briquette itself. So it's not heat that we're generating, it's heat generated from the material being compressed. We're constantly cooling down the process plant, keeping the temperatures at approximately 160, 170 degrees centigrade. Thereby, to a great extent, the bacteria are killed in the process, because the straw is both heated and compressed. After a while, we tear it apart again, so it's loose and thus easy to handle. The product doesn't get better really, but it becomes usable. So now it's loose, like wood shavings, and cools down on a conveyor belt. Then it's dedusted once more, and run through a closed circuit, and eventually ends up inside a silo. So we can deliver it either in sacks, as a number of our customers prefer, and actually we can deliver it in vacuum-packed sacks of 25 kilos each, and they're also run through a closed and automated circuit. Alternatively, if you want to avoid the packaging material, maybe as a matter of expenses on the packaging itself, or as a matter of the handling of it, we also offer to deliver it unpacked, which means it runs through a closed circuit into a lorry, and in that way is delivered straight to the place of use. So if you could just underline the differences between previously preferred litter materials and this new material? Well, with regards to the stalls, it's been normal to use sawdust or wood shavings, but there can be bacterial problems associated with this, as these materials haven't been heat-treated. And as a result, the bacteria have a potential growing environment, and that can cause a bad situation for the dairy herd. We don't have these bacteria in our straw, partly due to our heat treatment, which reduces the risk of infection, at the same time as our product has twice the absorption capacity. In other words, you only need half the amount of kilos to gain the same absorption capacity, and thereby a reduction in risk of infection. And in the frequency of udder inflammation and the cell counts, it just keeps getting better. Furthermore, there's also the advantage of it entering naturally into the slurry circuit, so you don't have problems with residue in slurry pipes and tanks, and no related expenditure either. Hi Gita, how are you doing? It's fair to say that it's developed rapidly during the last 2 years. What's the cause of your success? I think our success is due to the fact that we've targeted a product that there was a real need for. And at the same time, we have some very skilled and motivated employees who make sure that the unprocessed straw we receive and approve also turns into a good end product. And then we also have a salesperson who drives around and does demonstrations for customers who'd like either that or perhaps a visit, and that's also carried out with a high level of motivation. How do the farmers respond? They think it's expensive when they see the price per kilo, but where we're allowed to come in and do a demonstration, or where they might buy a few pallets to try it out, then we have a substantial rate of regular customers because it's so wonderfully easy to handle. And it has such a good effect on the health of the herd, which again is reflected in the farmer's bottom line figures. When the animals are happy, so's the farmer. Hello, Preben. Hi, Dida. What's up? Well, it's turned into litter. Yes, and well, there's a bit left, but it's really good though. Oh, that's great. It should be softer as well. Seems it's finely cut, and it rests really well in the stalls. What, so they're queuing up to go to sleep, are they? Almost. Well, they need to be fed as well. What made you interested in Easy Straw? It was an interesting new concept from our neighbours, right? And we used just ordinary straw before, but weren't satisfied with it. Then sawdust, but that resulted in bad hocks. A lot of farmers make great efforts to ensure that the cows grow hair on their hocks, and this product doesn't scratch the hocks, thereby creating a risk of infection. They also had really bad udders. The teats were damaged on some of them as well, so we tried this and were incredibly pleased with it. It's a combination of the softness of this product that we manufacture, which prevents it from scratching the cows, as well as its absorption of moisture and the poor conditions for bacteria growth in the stall. Better standards of hygiene around the cows, cleaner udders, better quality of milk. Those are the essential points. Then it has a higher density. It rests more solid on the ground. A lot of stalls or stable systems today are built to allow the wind to pass through them. So if there's a small gust, then, well, the traditional materials tend to blow away and go to waste, and so have no effect. But this is so heavy it stays where it is, because it's been so firmly compressed. We definitely believe it's much cheaper than all the other good things that are offered. So we're very pleased with this, and we'll continue using it. Ultimately, what does all of this mean to the consumer? Well, it means, concerning the food she has to buy, the animal foods anyway, that if she knows the product she's buying had good living conditions when they were alive, due in part to the use of a litter that absorbs moisture, reduces bacteria and thereby infection, that, as a consumer, she will feel good.